Hello everybody and welcome back to NCAA 2005 in the Idaho Vandals Dynasty mode. We are back kicking off year number 8. Year number 8. Yeah, it's year number 8. We're kicking off year number 8 with a brand new roster, and it is very much new as we have a lot of first-year starters. So not everyone's necessarily a freshman, but a lot of the starters we do have are first-year starters. So it's actually a pretty even breakdown between juniors, seniors, and sophomores. Juniors are freshmen, seniors, and sophomores. The juniors are the outlier with 9 juniors on the team across the roster. So potentially big years from a lot of players on the team could see this roster completely decimated by year's end, which is something I am anticipating, and the rate at which we've been recruiting is unsustainable. So that bodes a lot of very concerning things for the road ahead, but we're not planning to be here for a very long time. Depending on how the season goes, good or bad, we could be out of here. We could be done. So that's how we're rolling into today's matchup against Boise State, who's a very familiar, I couldn't think of the word familiar, a very familiar opponent, as Boise State just completed their 2-year probation. So they're entering this year for the first time without sanctions in, a couple seasons. And last year they had a great year. They were 10-2 and went 6-2 in conference, which tied with the winner of the WAC. But the year before, Boise State did manage to win the WAC, and the year that we beat them. So the last time that we played Boise State was year 6. We did manage to beat them here in Moscow, and they would go on to win the WAC, so that doesn't bode well for us. But this roster, it definitely spells more of in transition, and we will get into that as we talk more about them on offense. But already getting things off to a quick start here, and Roderick Williams breaking a tackle, and he's off to the races. Can he win the foot race? And he absolutely can, as Roderick Williams is into the end zone for his first touchdown of the season, man. Following a pretty somewhat disappointing campaign last year, still got some all Pac-10 selections here, and still had over 800 yards and 9 touchdowns. So it was a great year for him, but compared to where we expected him to be last year, where I expected him to be, it was a little bit down. I wanted to see at least 1,000 yards, but already off to a great start. So 7-0 is the score, and now on the ensuing kickoff, we're going to send this one back to Boise State, and now on the return, it's going to be a fumble, and the ball's going to be scooped up, and now we're going to have another offensive opportunity right in Boise State's backyard. And we are off to a great start in this ball game. So fast forward to a 3rd and 2 here. Got to get the offense moving here as David Worthington leading the offense. Going to try and go for the option play. There was nowhere to go off to his left, so he's just going to run it right up the gut and nearly gets into the end zone, but he at least gets the first down, which is just enough that we need. So that's going to give us a fresh set of downs here to maybe punch in a couple more yards into the end zone. So 1st and goal. Worthington's going to hand this one off to C.R. Madison, and Madison's going to ground and pound his way into the end zone, just barely getting past the goal line, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Vandals as we score once again. And now Sierra Madison, one of the newer faces on the roster. He had a great game or two, game and a half last year, had a 186 yards and 2 touchdowns in that small sample before our running backs got healthy. We didn't need C.R. Madison anymore, but now he's the top back on the depth chart following the departure of Keith Bridges and Marcus Donnelly. So we're going to be seeing him all year. And Boise State continues to have their problems as another fumble, another turnover is going to give us the football right back in their territory. So Antonio Gore, the running back, or actually no, it was Orlando Nix, the fullback, fumbles the football. And now we are taking over, but we are unable to convert on 3rd down. So now bring out special teams to try and nail home a field goal, and they managed to do that. So that was our walk-on kicker, Jeff Dennis, who had an amazing freshman season. He was first-team All-Pac-10 last year. And so now we take a 17-0 lead over our rivals after just 1 quarter of play. And we haven't lost to Boise State since year number 4. So we haven't played them every year. We took a year off last year, but we've beaten them every year since then. So year 5 and year 6, we have been the champs. Okay, so we're hoping to make it 3 straight against Boise if at all possible, but the Broncos look to finally be applying some pressure here on offense. And now we're going to bring out Jeff Dennis for a 51-yarder. I mean, there's no shot, right? No shot. And the kick is up almost from the logo, and they kick, and there's no way. There is no way. I can't remember who it was. I mean, I think it was Norman Mays, the last kicker. And it said in one of his posts, at the end of the season, it said that he made a 51-yarder. I'm like, dude, there's no shot that he made a 51-yarder. But Jeff Dennis just sails one through. So 20-0 is going to be the score in Moscow against Boise State. Now 1st and 10, deep in our own end. Worthington, I don't know what on earth that was. He tried to throw the screen pass. It got blocked immediately. It was ruled a backwards pass. Boise State recovers it in the end zone, and that is now going to be a touchdown. That's a touchdown for Boise State. I didn't think that was a rule here in college, but I guess it is. So 3rd and 1 for Idaho, now moving across midfield and quickly toe-tapping along the sideline. That looked like it might have been C.R. Madison. I think it was C.R. Madison making a catch out of the backfield. And now fast forward to another 3rd and short situation. Worthington going to try and run for it. Can't really get there. He managed to get the pitch off to Madison, and Madison racing back towards the line of scrimmage, and I don't think he got there. Or he's celebrating, so he might have got the first down. I think he might have just barely gotten it and scrape by. So fast forward to a 2nd and 2 now. We're just inching in every play, every yard. We're fighting for it. Worthington takes a shot towards the end zone, and I believe it's Roderick Williams coming out of the end zone to make the catch, and he's going to get brought down at about the 5 or 6 yard line of Boise. And so we're at least going to get the first down and get another chance and maybe getting inside the end zone. So we've worked it into about the 1 yard line on 3rd and goal. Going to hand this one off to C.R. Madison again. Going to look for the option, and Worthington just standing there like an idiot waiting for the pitch or the fake here, the read option, and he just gives it off to C.R. Madison for the touchdown. So, hey, we'll take it. We'll happily take it. Yeah, he just looks like a goober, whatever. Actually, it might have been Storton Malone, the fullback, who I think got in there. But either way, it's going to be 27-7 against these Broncos entering the 4th quarter. And Boise State really desperately looking for something to happen. So on 3rd and 2 now across midfield, pressure's on, and it gets home to the quarterback, and he's going to be sacked here. And now Boise State really just fighting for anything at this point. And that was Chad Hickman getting sacked, the quarterback, their starting quarterback. And I mean, dude, he's had a good year or at the helm last year. He threw for over 2,600 yards and had 24-10 touchdown INT split. But just for some reason can't get this offense rolling. So on 4th down, they're going to keep the offense on the field, and Hickman throws this one out in the flat, and that play is just broken up completely. Absolutely nothing doing on that side of the field. Come on, you gotta do something better than that, man. You gotta be a little bit quicker than that. So Boise State really struggling, but they're back on offense once again, right at about the same spot. Fast forward to a 3rd and 6, and again, Hickman just cannot connect, just can't get something rolling with this receiving core, which is very young, man, very young. They have 2 freshmen out of their top 3 receivers, so that might explain why things have been slow in the passing game for Boise. But on a 4th down, they're going to continue to keep the offense on the field and keep trying to get something going, and there is one of the younger guys on this offense here, and that's Vance Archie, freshman receiver, making his first start in the Boise State Bronco uniform, and he finally gets himself a little catch here in this game. So Boise State doing very badly on 3rd down in this game here, but they're going to go for it again, and the pass is broken up once again. And things just keep going from bad to worse for Boise State on offense as Jarvis Fields is able to break that pass up. But they're going to stick with it now on 4th down, and that pass is airmailed out of the back of the end zone. And, Chad Hickman just cannot seem to get anything rolling with this offense with chemistry or anyway. So Worthington, though, however, is going to hand this one off, and that ball's going to get fumbled by C.R. Madison, who's had a decent game here, but finally making a mistake, and Boise State's going to get another chance on offense in the same spot on the field, man. We just cannot seem to get the ball away from our own end, this kind of no man's land. So Boise State works it inside now close to the 30 on another 3rd down. They just keep racking them up, and that pass is broken up once again. I believe it was Phil Tolbert. I can't tell if it was a 6 or a 9, but I think it was Phil Tolbert who breaks that pass up. So Boise State again going for it on 4th down, and it looks like they're going to get it now on this time, and we're going to see who exactly. I couldn't tell who that was, but the pass is caught, so it's going to be 1st and 10 inside the 25 for Boise State. They're going to run with some tempo here. Just over 2 minutes left to go. That pass is sailed out, and it's going to be caught along the side of the field, and that again is going to be Vance Archie for Boise State, who's finally starting to do something in this game here, just anything. So on 2nd and goal for the Broncos, Hickman's going to drop back here, float one out to that same spot on the field, and there you go, man. There's Vance Archie getting into the end zone. So you keep giving the Broncos enough opportunities, they'll eventually score on you, I guess, is the silver lining here. But they're still down by a couple scores, and they wouldn't do anything else for the rest of the game, and so we're going to pick up a big win against Boise State to start our season. I really, really worry about our competitiveness heading into conference play because I feel like the roster is still good enough. Like, if we were in the Sun Belt, I still feel like we're good enough to compete in the Sun Belt, man. I still feel that. I feel like we could still win 7-8 games in the Sun Belt, but now with the roster where it's at heading into conference play, I worry a little bit more. I don't know. This is a huge tone-setting victory for us, but our out-of-conference schedule's kind of just been all over the place since the sanctions have started. Like last year, things were really kind of weird. with how that all went, and this year is probably going to be no different. We're probably going to win a game that we should and lose games that we shouldn't. So, so as we look ahead to Pac-10 play, I'm really concerned about that. I'm really concerned just how good or bad we will be playing against the other teams in our conference. So we've done well the last couple of years. Last year was not great. We were 500 in conference, but still managed to win 8 games because of out of conference. So if we manage to struggle with our out of conference schedule and put up another 4-4 year, I mean, we might be not even making a bowl game. So that's looking quite far ahead here, which, maybe we shouldn't do. Maybe we should just focus on today, getting through the out-of-conference stuff. But we have a tougher schedule. So we have Illinois and West Virginia yet to play, and now we have Utah State from the Sun Belt, our typical Sun Belt matchup here. Looking to beat Utah State. We haven't done it in several years, or maybe ever. So hopefully we can beat the Aggies. I scheduled this game in Moscow, so to give us a better shot. So hope to see you guys when we play Utah State back in Moscow.